feel like I need to
Hey guys.
SBOE hold music. Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we just lost.
Did we lose Dr. Colson?
We did. I'm sure she'll be back. But we will still get started because we're running a little behind. So happy to call the meeting to order at 5:06. We do have a quorum. Um, I know we're supposed to talk about attendance and grading policy first. A couple things. So one, when Dr. Colson rejoins us, we'll talk about attendance and grading policy. Two, Representative Best is not able to join us. I did touch base with him this morning, and I know he was going to make some updates to both resolutions, which I hope we were going to be able to talk through. Um, I don't think that happened yet, but we can discuss how best to move forward. And then we have the high school grad requirements work, site visits, and new business. Is there anything missing from the agenda? I'm assuming we won't have any new business today, but I just want to make sure so we all have a sense of what's happening. All right. That being said,
Colson is back.
yes, thank you. I see her. And so that being said, I'm gonna stop talking for a moment, and have Dr. Colson remind us, Representative Colson remind us of the attendance and grading policy, a topic that was referred to committee.
Yes, thank you all. I know that sometimes I lack succinctness, so I sent over a document just in case you hadn't had the chance to review it. My concern is that when you put the grading policy together with the attendance policy, it creates a loophole for students to pass and basically do the bare minimum of work. So specifically, there is a policy, or not even there is, our policy currently for DCPS basically says that students cannot be denied entry, no matter how late they attend class. So if the class is 60 minutes, if they show up at the 50th minute, they are marked tardy, not absent, or they can show up for the first minute, leave class, walk the halls, and they're still marked as present. That's one problem. And then the other problem is that teachers are required to allow students to make up work, to provide makeup work, and to grade it up until the last day of a term. So what that creates is the opportunity for a student to roam the halls, which is why this came to mind, roam the halls, cut class, go to the teacher, get the assignments, and turn them in and be content with passing the class with or C or D. And I'll stop there to see if there are any clarifying questions or if you all understand so far. Okay. And then the other part is you can be completely absent for a class up until the 30th absence. And then that's when that falls under the FA category, failure to attend. And so you automatically are then given another opportunity through credit recovery. So I think the designers or the creators of this policy were thinking about being equitable for students who have circumstances beyond their control that hinder them from attending class. But what it has created is the opportunity for students who do go to school to be present but not attend class and still have opportunities to make up work. So it definitely is inequitable when we're talking about students who are going to class, trying, and let's say they earn a B or a C, that same opportunity through these policies are offered to students who are just cutting class and not attending. That's all I have.
Okay. I don't know if there are any immediate questions or comments, or if folks need a moment to look at the memo that was sent earlier.
I have a question about whether this is currently a quantifiable problem. Like, do you? I mean, maybe the point is it's something that's not measured currently, but is there a way to have a sense of like how pervasive the problem is? I see that you've identified the loop, like I see the loophole. Do we know
Mhm.
like how frequently students are using the loophole?
I believe that we can identify that through our school counselors. And then also some schools have pathway coordinators who also do this same work as well. I'm sure that teachers can provide data as well if we look at, or attendance counselors. So my answer is yes, I believe so.
And I like presumably there would be other inter interventions. Are there other levels of intervention that are triggered before a student reaches? So I see you saying notices at 10 and 15, but you're saying that that's just a notice and there's no real compulsion to change at that point.
Correct.
They
Correct.
they they know they can get up to 30.
Correct.
It's I just want to make sure I understand, but is this with the attendance policy, understand that this is specific to DCPS,
Hmm.
as you have outlined it. But the larger attendance policy, will we be looking at uh, chapter 25 or just attendance policies in general? Are there other way, let me rephrase. Do Is there a difference? Is it the wording of the larger attendance policy at the I'm going to call it state level, and maybe a difference in wording at the DCPS LEA level? Or is the wording the same at the state and the LEA level? Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm doing a good job of explaining it.
I think I understand, and the answer to that question is I don't know because I looked at the DCPS wording and then I looked at other school districts, but I didn't look at what is equivalent to our state level. Does that answer the question that you were asking?
Uh, it does. So the answer,
Okay.
yeah. So it sounds like we need to take a look because I do remember that we had a conversation about change at the same time attendance and community service following the pandemic as far as what constitutes present. I do not recall it being specific at the because it sounds like this is specific to the period class level.
Yes.
I remember us talking about the portion of the day that a student attends. Um, yeah. And so I think the one thing I think two things. One is it makes sense to check and see if this is reflective in the larger policy, or if this is DCPS specific language. And two, given it is, we don't have DC specific, LEA specific authority. um, I think we would have to discuss how best to um, address this. Are we hoping that we would make a recommendation to DCPS or the deputy mayor?
I,
Um,
I was
how do you see this?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I was hoping that there would be a recommendation for additional guardrails
Mhm.
to prevent this. So more specific language would
Mhm.
be helpful.
So we essentially I guess the goal is for I guess working with you as a committee for us to suggest uh different language for DC. I guess we would decide if it's DCPS specific or if this is something we would like to engage OSSI around if the language is something that is reflective in their larger policy.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know if there are other thoughts or questions.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. So step one is to determine whether it is replicated in state policy. Depending on what we find there, step two would be to look at um, clarifying language to establish guardrails. And I think the committee would ask for Representative Colson's help on crafting that.
Yes, because if it is a state policy, then um, we could work directly with OSSI. We could request essentially that OSSI come back to us with an amendment to the policy, which we would be able to approve. If this is technically in line with state policy and DCPS specific, I guess we could tighten up state policy regulations, but depending on how other LEAs have written their policies, that might have some unintended consequences. Um, and so I don't, I don't want to be presumptuous about what any of the policies say, but if this is reflective at the state policy level, the right lever to pull will be to work with OSSI um, to make a recommendation, ask them to come back to us so we can approve new language. If this is something that is at the LEA level, then we do not have direct approval authority, but we will have to have a discussion about how best to encourage DCPS to make a change. Yeah. I do have one more question, Representative Colson, is uh, depending on what we find, is part of the request to see how, and I want to, um, sorry, I should restart. How I was going to use the word pervasive, but I should be more specific. How pervasive this is within DCPS, that to Representative Henderson's point around how many students are utilizing this loophole, and also if other LEAs are experiencing this. Is it an and both?
Yeah, I think it's both. Um, because when we listened to the panel last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, about recent grads, I believe more than one said that they felt that they weren't prepared in terms of background knowledge, and not faulting them, but I am curious, for a student who um, finds themselves taking advantage of this loophole, are they too going to say the same thing? That's my first thought. Like, can we close this gap so that we don't see this problem on the other side when they've moved on? And then the other thing is, and it might be a stretch, but I still want to raise it. When I think about us now talking about graduation requirements and also the two diplomas, it's concerning that with the new requirements, if we don't close this loophole, then there will be students who will earn a degree by using the loophole. And then we also have students who go to class, work their hardest, and they do not qualify for the degree. So it could be seen as a murky comment, but those are the things that come to mind. Someone is really working hard, and then someone is hanging in the hallway and taking advantage of the system. But to your original question, I think it's both for sure, because we're looking at all of our DC students, not just one LEA.
Okay. Um, so um, I guess so. I just want to. I don't know if there are other thoughts or questions. If not, I'm just going to outline what I hear are steps to take. Um, just for
Yeah.
clarity. Are there other things before that?
Just quickly, I want to flag for Representative Colson that one of the task force members has asked that we discuss attendance in relation to the graduation requirements. So we anticipate doing that at the next task force meeting.
Awesome. Thank you.
It's a wonderful flag.
Hi. Oh, sorry, Representative Thompson.
Go ahead.
Representative Colson, have you heard like other stories from like specific like charter LEAs? I'm just wondering, as we're trying to figure out again from a DCPS standpoint, but also just again from an LEA standpoint, like is there any data that you have from other LEAs or
I I do not have data from other LEAs, but I will mention that this may be a concern that perhaps Representative Chang and his committee will be interested in because I definitely hear frustration from teachers with pressure to make amendments, if you will, to grades and the hardship that it places on them at the end of a semester to then go back and grade work that other students have already submitted. So
Mhm.
I think that there are implications in multiple areas. Also, with this policy, and again, it being abused, then it creates um, issues in terms of climate and culture in the building because students who should be in class are out of location and making poor decisions. So if we can tighten up on the implementation and the language, I think we will see benefits in multiple areas.
Got it. Thank you.
Hmm.
Okay. Last call for comments or questions. All right, so I'm gonna restate what I heard as steps, and we should discuss if those are correct and or how this work is going to happen. So it sounds like we need to do some work to figure out what the state level policy is. It also it sounds like we would be interested in looking at um, policy across a few LEAs. Now, I do want to flag that um, we have a good number of LEAs. The only LEAs that will have periods, my guess, are going to be middle and high schools. So we will be looking at LEAs with middle and high schools to see
Hmm.
what their attendance and I'm saying attendance policy, but are we is the interest in attendance and grading policy given the makeup assignment language?
Yes.
Okay. And it also sounds like there is a request to find out more about how pervasive this problem is at the uh, student level as far as students who are exemplifying this behavior. Um, and we would want to do that for DCPS. Are we interested in doing that for other LEAs as well at the middle or at the middle and high school level?
Is that for me or the committee? For anyone? For
It's for the
anyone?
I'm literally just I want to be clear. I'm just restate based on the conversation we had and the thoughts that were put on the table and questions. I'm
Hmm.
restating what I heard possible steps could be to address them,
Yeah.
and asking if that is aligned with what folks intended.
My recommendation would be yes, because my intent is to get to help us get to proficiency. And if students are not in class, that's a difficult goal to accomplish. And so if we can start in middle school, and if we can, I don't mean start, but if we can look at middle school and look at high school, that's wonderful. But if just one, then definitely high school.
Okay. Did and then based on what we find, we would be um, essentially either making a recommendation to OSSI or I'm going to say I'm going to use the DME as a placeholder here, just given the complexity of our education landscape.
Hmm.
Is that does that also align with folks' thoughts, or are there others that we should be looping in? Okay. Um, I'm going to take the silence as agreement. Uh, now, um, how do we envision getting this work done? I know, smiles. How do we envision getting this work done? And by when? I know we have a lot of stuff going on with the high school grad requirements, and we are taking a good deal of Haley's time with the task force and the meetings, and we're probably about to take a lot more of her time going into the next couple months. Um, and so I don't want to just assume that Haley's going to magically come back and produce this for us. And I do think some of this research we probably could do. And so what does that look like? Dr. Colson, do you want to take a first pass um, with like support from us or what is reasonable?
Sure, I could take a first pass. In terms of timeline, I want to get the resolution that I proposed out of committee, and I'm trying to get that done by April, so I can work on it and get something back to you all in May.
So wait, say more. I don't think I'm following. With the
Well,
because if the resolution will come out before,
no, I'm not. No, I'm talking about the
okay.
a resolution in C committee.
So there's a different resolution in C committee?
I'm just saying, in terms of what I have on my plate, these are
Oh,
two different subjects, two different things. I'm just saying I'm working on something right now. So, in terms of my capacity,
no, no,
I
no.
just
Yes,
got
that
it.
makes sense.
Got it. I know what I can realistically do. And realistically, I can come back to you guys at the top of May at the latest, depending on how the other resolution that's unrelated goes.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I think what I heard was that we needed to have a resolution around this out of committee
No.
in April,
Uh-uh.
and I was like, wait a minute, say more. I didn't hear any of
No.
those things.
Like,
So
how you
that
gonna do that?
yeah, I was like, how? I was like, okay, so I missed something. So
Choose
no, no
something
worries.
new. No.
But what you said not only makes sense, but sounds reasonable.
Okay.
Happy to check in, uh, closer to April, at the end of April, May to see if uh if we can be helpful. Because
Okay.
that also will be, we'll have a few things off of our plate with the grad requirements, and we can also follow up to Representative Henderson's great flag around what's coming out of the alignment with that discussion, since it's been raised by some of the committee members.
Great. Okay. Sounds doable.
Okay. Yes, we're trying to be reasonable here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else about this?
No, no, I thank you for the audience, and that is it for now.
All right. Thank you. You're welcome to stick around if you would like. You're also welcome to enjoy other parts of your life and your day.
Right, the other three meetings that I have. So I will bid you all farewell and see you all soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Dr. Colson.
Thank you.
All right, one item down. Next item, how do we want to handle the AI resolutions? We can discuss some of if there's anything additionally from what we heard in the committee. We can give uh, we if folks have any additions or edits. we can capture them here. Um, because so two things. One, yes, Representative Best is no longer on this committee, but also he had a conflict today. I did reach out to Representative Best. He was going to try to make some changes and give feedback before the meeting for us to consider in the meeting, so that we could go ahead and have those and vote them out. That has not happened. Um, and so how would we like to proceed? We can keep them. We can uh, send them to the larger board so that work can happen outside of the committee. Um, what do folks think? Because there's nothing that says that we cannot produce them, and then Representative Best can make changes outside of the committee. I don't know what value retaining them has at this point.
Yeah, I marked it up and made comments on the shared drive version. I have been kind of deferring to Representative Best on, how he wants to proceed and when he thinks it's ready. But I hear you on, um, if we've done the work we're going to do on it in the committee, then particularly if he's no longer in the committee.
Yeah, I mean, he can always come back to the committee. I mean, we can retain him for another month and kind of get the work done in between and vote it out. I'm also happy to have a follow-up conversation with him to see what he prefers, since he's no longer on the committee. But that is a change in the who is working on this, and we have been deferring to him. And so I just want to make sure that he is able to work on it. And I know that this is not the only thing that anyone has in life. And so, um, life just want to, so I'm happy to, we can table these for now. And I'm happy to follow up with Representative Best and see how he would like to proceed.
I was going to say, Representative Thompson, can we just follow up with him and see what he would like, and then we can just go for those recommendations? So that way he has a hand in it, because I know he cares about it deeply.
Well, yes, I guess so if we yes, so we're gonna follow up with him and see what he would like in the resolution, which is what I did earlier. I think the question is just if we keep it in the committee while we're waiting to hear from him, or if we uh, discharge it from the committee, given he's no longer on the committee. So it sounds like we'll keep it in the committee. We'll follow up with him to see how he would like to proceed, and give him the option of either coming back next month, providing or accepting feedback in writing between now and the next committee meeting. Or if that is not possible and he feels like it's ready, we can also at the next committee meeting vote to discharge it from the committee so the rest of the board can consider. Does that sound like a path forward?
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Um, Next on our agenda, wait a minute, I got a memo up. Let me pull the agenda back up.
Next is the high school graduation requirements work, starting with debriefing the task force meeting.
Oh, of course. That makes perfect sense. So, we were there. Um, any immediate thoughts about the next task force meeting? I'll remind folks that our next meeting will be in person. We did but have a discussion on or start to hear more about CTE in addition to um, talking about how we'll make some decisions, like what is our framework for making decisions. And then we've also talked a bit about the timeline for decision making. Um, Immediate thoughts.
Yeah, I think we'll need to do um, a couple reminders to get folks to fill in the kind of preliminary survey, and also just to encourage um, people to come, because I think um, this is a great opportunity to to really make um,
Mhm.
a big push forward on the work and do it in person.
Yeah. Uh, I agree. I also know it's a few folks that we haven't seen as consistently. And we especially probably want to encourage them to attend as well. We should also remind folks what we've like when we do the reminder, we should remind folks that they have access to everything that's been discussed before and shared before, um, in case they want to go backwards to prepare themselves, because we have discussed a lot of information.
Yeah, and I also want to encourage people. I know some people who have topics they want to bring up have already produced um, a one pager. Um, for any who have indicated they want to discuss something in particular but haven't produced something in writing, I'd like to ask them to do that so we have a starting point.
Mhm. Agreed. Because we did commit to sharing those things out prior to
Mhm.
the meeting, which I think is good practice, because that allows folks to digest and be ready to engage.
There is a Dropbox that I am adding those things to as we receive them. It was linked in the last email that went out to all the task force members that you should all be copied on. So you have access to all of those as well.
Thank you as always.
Can we, Haley, can we have access to the survey results like as they come in?
You should be able to access that through your Microsoft account with your
Okay.
DC government email. If you have trouble accessing that, let me know.
All right, thanks.
Oh, so we can see the results already. We have access, like we're
You should have access if you are logged in through the SBOE account on Microsoft Forms. If you are having trouble accessing that, let me know.
I'm not going to pretend that I've tried. I'm
Okay.
noting for myself that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I haven't either, but I am curious to get started and try to keep up as much as I can so I don't have to do it all at the.
We have 5 responses right now. I asked them to complete it by Monday. I'll send out a reminder on Friday morning. And hopefully we will get another batch of responses.
Great. Oh. Um, I can't immediately think of anything else. I am in a slight Dayquil haze though, so uh, don't count on me for my best. We should also note just we mentioned talking to the SAC. Thanks so much for getting us time with the SAC. And that'll be on March 9th. Um, correct? Right.
Yes.
Okay. Be there.
And we need to make sure we find a condensed way to get feedback because their meetings are very packed. We will only have about 15 minutes.
Hmm.
Mhm.
They
There,
do not.
Uh,
there.
oh, oh, go ahead. I can wait.
I was just going to say they don't mess around with their agenda. They keep to the minute.
Mm-hmm. Yes, love their meetings. I was gonna say they're pretty good and used to like the Mentimeter and those kind of tools. Maybe that's a good way to ask the same questions and get like immediate feedback from a big group, and not do, how we like with the, sorry, need words, with the feedback group at Cardozo, we would kind of went one by one explaining or listening to their feedback. Maybe the Mentimeter, since they're familiar with that, is a good way to um, stay true to what we need to know and capture their feedback.
Mm, I was gonna say, I know we've had a lot of information, and is there a way for us to, in person, to be like, okay, go through each recommendation and with the different themes that we heard, we post them. Okay, these are the things we like, these are the things we don't like, and then maybe have people either with the Mentimeter, they can just type it out, or maybe like we can write it out on post-its or something. Just trying to figure out a way like we need to start getting actual recommendations to give back to Aussie, and how can we get that information, because we have received so much information, both what people like about them and what people don't.
Yeah, I think and I when we had the last meeting, we one of the reasons we asked people to do the survey is to get the feedback on like where get a sense of where they are in the recommendations. So we know what where there is like widespread agreement or where there's um differences, and we need to focus so that we'll actually have that prepared before we come to the meeting, and then once we're at the meeting, it'll give us a way to focus. Because if we, I'm just gonna make up something. I've not logged in. I've not looked at anything. Hypothetically speaking, if everyone says, we like financial literacy, we want to keep it as a class, we don't need to talk about financial literacy. But if
Mm-hmm.
we have 8 different opinions around what the grading requirement should be, that's a place where we need to lean in and get together a recommendation back. And so
Okay.
that's why we're really leaning into following up about the pre-work, um, so that we can narrow down which are the things during the meeting we need to lean in a bit more on.
Okay. Because I was just trying to figure out a way, like, for us to, for those who haven't come, and for maybe for the public who are trying to keep up, like, trying to make sure that we're portraying, okay, this is the information that we've received up to this point. This is what's happening, but also like here's a place to like be able to get to recommendations.
Mhm.
That's it.
Is that, I mean, is what I said
So
helpful?
it's helpful, and I'm just again for the yes, we have the survey, but one, is everyone going to do it? Two, it's like herding cats. Three, I still think we should go through, even if it's like a slide, to be like, okay, this is the around themes. This is the information about what people like about each recommendation. These are the concerns that people have around the recommendation. And so as we're thinking about recommendations, either whether it's in like we do it on the computer, everyone submits it, or if it's like poster board, to make it like interactive because we're in person, to be able just to physically see, okay, this is where we are, to be able to help get to a place of recommendations.
I don't I don't think that I'm suggesting that we're not going to use the meeting to go through, and I guess I am seeing it as a yes, and like the first, because there is so much information, the reason we're asking people to do the survey beforehand, we're talking so much about the follow-up and making sure folks follow up, is we want to be be able to share out, hey, uh, and we're making some assumptions, right? So, hey, here are the places where uh, we said this was good, and so we don't need to dig in as much, and we will share that out. And here are the places that, and here's what we heard back from folks. Here are the places we really need to dig in. And so like we're going to dig into those together at the March meeting, and likely also at the April meeting, to get to some uh, um, it doesn't necessarily have to be consensus, because we also described that as there might be places where we don't have consensus. And so we will also share, similar to the report that was done previously by the state board, both if there are multiple opinions, right? Like if there's like a majority and a minority, or maybe folks are of two minds, you can do either of these things. And so I'm not suggesting that we won't dig in at the meeting itself. I am sharing that we to give us a sense of how much time to dedicate and what we need to focus on. We're doing the survey first.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we're asking people to, if people have alternative recommendations, as as much as possible, to front load those and share them in advance, which is not to say that's the only form they can take or the end of the discussion, but to start the discussion, like, we know that we have a task force member who has a proposal around like an advanced studies degree, and
Mhm.
that person has shared a one pager on what that would look like. We want people to look at that ahead of time, and we will give that task force member some time to explain, make the case for that at the meeting. If somebody has an alternative proposal around the practical studies diploma, we're asking them to advance that alternative recommendation now, share it with the task force so that we can discuss it at the meeting.
Mhm. Like similar
Got it.
to like I think what Representative Colson did for the attendance policy is a really good example of putting the information in one place so folks can read it ahead of time, consider it, uh, see it, discuss, right? And so like that way we're not we people have the opportunity to put new information on the table, and people have very clear ways to engage. We're also making those things available to the public, like in our, as we get proposals, so that if folks want to provide feedback at the next public meetings, they can also do so who are not on the task force.
Got it.
Uh, is that helpful? It's not we're not saying no, we're not going to dig in, but as the structure of it, or does that not sound helpful?
It's okay. It's helpful.
Okay. Any other thoughts from the last task force meeting? Okay. Uh, well, going once, going twice, going to the next agenda item. Is the next agenda item the site visit debrief?
Well, we have some other items under the high school grad work. We may have already discussed some of them, but we have discussing the schedule and timeline.
Yeah.
The survey feedback, which I think all of you would have already seen at the task force meeting, but we can discuss that. And then sharing any constituent feedback you've heard on the grad requirements.
Oh yeah, so let's just take them one by one. I don't have the agenda up, and I'm kind of
Okay,
relying on Haley to keep me honest. I can pull it up though. I just
that's okay.
I have a million windows open, and I don't want to try.
So discuss schedule and timeline. So just getting a more firm idea of when are we presenting the task force report to the full board? When are we expecting to share ideas with Aussie?
Mhm.
Um, just getting a firmer idea on the timeline.
So I'm gonna go back to what I stated and look for and open it up for discussion. So as of right now, we are having an in-person March meeting. I think my expectation is that we do a lot of engagement in that meeting, and it is a meaty meeting where we're going to move a lot of work forward, and also that we will have actual some type of meat or snacks at the meeting, because that would be nice. Now we have not scheduled a date for April meeting. We I assume because it's been so much information, we're not going to leave the March meeting with a recommendation prepared to hand to anyone. We're going to need some time. And so I am assuming that we should have an April meeting. Um, and I am wondering if it makes sense to move the April meeting up so some of that is still fresh in our minds, so we can kind of like do a part one and part two of the hash out. It could be, I have no opinion on if it's virtual or in person, but I think we should ask the task force about availability, and possibly, if not, May meeting, like at the beginning of May. We also could do it at the end of April because spring break is happening. And so I am suggesting we not stick with our standing meeting schedule so we can get enough work done to be able to get something at least to the board by our May working session. Yeah, sometime in May. Because we need May to negotiate with Aussie.
So the other thought I have, sorry,
Sorry, go ahead.
the other thought I have is that we were planning on the April public meeting panel being an opportunity for feedback on the task force recommendations.
Mhm.
So, but I'm okay with that being like a preliminary
Mhm.
um, state. So just wanted to throw that back in the mix, and I think I like the idea of an earlier in April follow up, and I also want us to name that I think coming out of the March task force meeting, there will be like some writing, a fair amount of writing to do, and
Yes.
um, to say that like I'm up for uh, taking a good share of that. Um, so just wanted to put that out there as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think thank you. I see.
Oh, thanks, Representative Thompson. What date is the March meeting again? Is it smack dab in the middle of March?
March 19th.
Mhm.
Um, I was gonna say another suggestion could be like maybe like you do 2 weeks after that, and maybe we do like a virtual, like you said, to keep it fresh. And then maybe 2 weeks after that, do one in April. And then maybe like the end of April, maybe to finalize some things, because I do think that one, it needs to be given to the board, but two, we have to get this back to Aussie so that way Aussie can get back to us because it's looking like maybe a June vote. I don't know if that's helpful, just as far as like a 2 week type of time frame. The 19th, maybe 2 weeks after, maybe do like a virtual follow up because it's going to be a lot. And then maybe to do like another 2 week after that, just as we're nearing the end. And then maybe go towards like the end of April. I don't know if that's helpful though.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to ask the task force to meet that many times uh, in a month. Um, but I think, with the same rhythm that you suggested, Representative Johnson Law, with some offline. Um, so I would envision like the March meeting in person, and then maybe 2 weeks after, or early, I guess that would be early April, follow up. But then maybe after that, the iterations, like some of that work would be um, asynchronous. I don't know what the word is. Having
Outside of meetings.
outside of meetings and having something that the task force members are reviewing, like by then having text that they're able to look at and respond to offline or online.
Yeah, so just to ground us in the calendar a little bit. So March 19th, is, as Haley shared, is the March meeting. 2 weeks after that is actually the first week of April, so that would be April 3rd. I do think we need to uh, actually ask though to make sure people can attend, right? Because we are asking people for a lot of meetings, and but roughly around like approximately 2 weeks later feels right to me, and is similar to uh what I suggested, which is like earlier in April, first week of April. If we do that, then to Representative Henderson's point about the writing and being able to produce something, April 15th, I believe, is our public meeting. Um, is
I
that right?
do not
Or did
believe
we
that
move
is
it?
correct. I think that is
Yeah.
the spring break, at least for DCPS. I'm not sure about charters. So we actually have the
It's the
public meeting on the
22nd.
22nd.
Okay, so the 22nd, Earth Day, is our public meeting. So that would give us about 2 weeks if we are able, like, to be able to produce something, not final, but be able to produce something. Um, and because we would also need to post something by what we tend to send things out the Friday before, so the 17th of April. Um, to to so people can actually come and give feedback. Um, and then we're gonna need to hear the feedback. So maybe it is, and we can ask people. April does have almost a fifth week. So either it could be the following week, like late the following week, or uh, I don't know if we want to get into the first week of May, but I do think we need to ask to make sure we won't be sitting there by ourselves. Because creating meetings that people can attend um, is not the best way to engage. But I feel like we're pretty aligned on the rough timeline of what needs to happen. So do we want to um, I mean, I feel like we've been sending a lot of requests and doodle polls and things like that. Do we want to do it before hand I start to ask people? Do we want to wait and like get people in the meeting? In our
I
Yeah.
was I was thinking we could get people in in the meeting because they'll already be there, and we can just maybe give them like a rough timeline to be like, are y'all okay with us, since they'll already be there. That way they don't have to do another doodle poll.
My only concern is if you want to meet 2 weeks after that meeting, we do need 2 weeks of public notice. So we would have to just make sure that we publicly notice that immediately. Um, so that would not give us very much cushion to do that.
Which technically means we need to tell them before or ask them before.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know that
Here's
public notice does take 2 weeks. And so if we didn't find out until the evening of March 19th, trying to notice a meeting that's exactly 2 weeks
uh,
later to the day, and the notice probably
uh,
wouldn't go out until the next morning. It's
yeah,
just,
and that's fair. And I don't think we just want to maybe we offer 2 dates or something, but I do think
That's
we
what I
need
was gonna
to.
say, Representative Thompson, maybe to give them like two time, like, can we just map out the dates and give them like maybe like you said, like give them like a couple of, not a couple of options, but just two options to be like, okay, here is either option one for the dates or here's option two, pick one. So that way we have enough notice for public.
Well, yes, so I was gonna say I was mid thought. So yes, I think we need to give people options. We can suggest some options. If we do not hear back from enough people, then I would say at the top of the meeting, we need to say, hey, this is why we're doing it, and this is and we need a response, and we need a response now. Maybe the right answer, to Haley's point, to give us some cushion, is to look at the like technically the first full week. Maybe we say maybe we offer, I don't know what people's lives look like, but in this group, but maybe we offer the second, and if we get enough responses back, that's great. But look at one of the days in the first full week, like the 6th or the 9th, in case we don't get enough responses, the 7th. That'll give us a little bit of cushion. Um, does that make sense? Like,
That makes sense.
One suggestion is because we only have 5 people who have taken the survey so far,
we can
I
just
can
update the
add a
survey.
question about dates and then we can reach out individually to those few folks asking.
Look at you, Haley. Genius. Uh, uh, yes, let's update the survey.
Okay. So I'll ask about availability April 2nd and April 9th.
Uh, does that work for representatives?
I like it. I don't see anything on either.
Okay. I actually do have I might have something on April 2nd, but I can be flexible. I can make some things work. Um, but we need to get this done. Um, okay. So are we on the same page? Are we good with the timing question? Anything else on timing? All right. Moving to the next agenda item, Haley.
The next item is the survey feedback.
hmm Any thoughts on survey feedback, which we have already started, which we already discussed in the task force meeting? We were all there, so.
Yeah, and I think it's a good reference point for, one of the criteria we listed was public feedback. So, we have now several sources of public feedback data, including the survey. Thank you, Haley, for summarizing.
Very much. Thank you very much. Okay. I think the last item was if we've heard any other public feedback outside of the survey, since we last met. I'm going to turn on the lights. I'm not sitting here in the dark. Give me 1 second. It's one lamp.
I mean, I met with community about the practical studies diploma, and they had some really great ideas. And so I encourage them to make sure they share those with the board. We'll put the task force. So I think those are coming soon to be able to help the task force. But that's all I got.
Okay. When you say coming soon, do we expect testimony at the public meeting, or are you gonna submit it like as a task force member?
So probably both, because I always encourage them to testify. That's why, again, that way it's on public record. I can submit something as a task force member. I know another task force member came, so I also encouraged them to submit something as well. And again, if we agree on something, we can submit it all together. I'm still working that out with them to see what they would like to do. So it's ongoing, but just wanted to report out what folks were thinking.
Okay. It's if you all share it, ahead of the next task force meeting, then of course we can discuss it then. Um
And that was that was going to be my suggestion to them, but I didn't want to give them like for sure things. I wanted us to have like this committee meeting first, so that way they have a little bit more um idea around like timeline. So that way they can submit their stuff ahead of the meeting, so that way folks have it.
Nice.
Mhm.
I will say that Chairman Mendelson mentioned that they have received testimony about practical studies degree in particular, and I don't know that we have clocked all of that. I don't know if they have it organized in a shareable way, but I know that exists also. Uh,
I mean, we can
but
follow up with the committee of the whole staff. Because if anybody's clocked, it's probably like Aaliyah, Bajan, one of them. Because I'm assuming they will all be in the committee of the whole.
yeah,
Mhm. We can make that request. Okay. All right. I know we're running out of steam, or maybe that's just me. Um, doing my best. I'm not feeling my greatest today. We have what, site visits? All right. Two parts to this. One is just debrief Coolidge site visit and to talk about any further site visits. Yes. So go ahead.
it would be great to do River Terrace, sometime in the next several weeks, 3 weeks maybe.
I
Um,
did email Principal Cepeda, but I don't think I heard back. So I'll ping her again.
yeah,
Uh,
and go to Abe too, because he said
oh yeah.
he could initiate. So
All right. I'm on it. Um, I'm
I
on it.
really enjoyed the Coolidge visit. Like I thought, um, A, it's just fun to talk to students, and B, that we got some good insight. I'm thinking especially about the touch points, and what students shared about, kind of when those touch points are most meaningful to them, and uh, also knowing that, um, so this was a DCPS example, and I'd be curious to hear about other LEAs of just how much of the how many touch points are currently happening, particularly for seniors. Maybe that's, especially already covered. But I'm thinking, maybe to add 10th grade,
Mhm.
um, as a something to discuss with the task force.
Yeah, I think it was inter I mean, I don't know if we assume maybe I assume sometimes that we'll hear different feedback from different groups. But it was nice to hear that both the students and the educators were aligned in that respect. And so I definitely think it's worth bringing to the task force to codify. Um, yeah, I also just I think being like yes, like the community feedback sessions are were good and were helpful. Um, but I do think like specifically we didn't get a bunch of students at those sessions. So I, I'm anticipating too that having a conversation with the task force as well. I mean, the SAC uh, will be similarly helpful and engaging, especially and um, being able to just put together the threads from what current students said, what we heard from some of the recent graduates, and then what we're hearing from students on the SAC and different at different LEAs. I think it's really helpful and interesting, and really appreciate Miss Bebe. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right
I think
ever.
it's yeah,
Okay. I want to get it right. I'm going to get
yeah,
it right. I'm going to ask her directly when I see her in person so I can get it right. For saying this was something that she wanted to do, and taking the time and energy to coordinate it. So I do think that probably I think the one thing I am not as clear on and just is as we have talked about, so like Dr. Grant came and testified before us for Monument, and we talked about doing some follow-up visits for things that are already implemented. If our hope would be to do something similar, or if it's more of a maybe it's that plus like I think seeing instruction is more important for things that are already implemented, and that's not something we did as part of this visit. And so I do think the structure would be a bit different for things that we've already passed. But I would like to keep um, opportunities to hear from students and teachers as part of the visits.
yeah. I agree. I think we would want to see some instruction and practice, but also like just a small focus group of whatever we're talking about social studies standards. Get
Hmm.
the social studies department and also hear from students. Yeah.
Hmm. It since I guess I should is it helpful when I follow up with Abe and Principal Cepeda to share like the materials from the visit in case they like I'm assuming that we want to keep the same uh structure format, um but I don't want to assume. I want to make sure we're aligned. I see
Yeah,
thoughts.
I would defer a little bit to Principal Cepeda about her context and what would be most fruitful. Um, but generally, yes.
Okay. So I'll share with the context that we do want input. It's not like this is um
Hmm.
yeah, okay. Okay. Other thoughts? Okay. Um so sounds like and Haley will remind me, I know uh to our next step is to get that visit scheduled. Do we want are there any other visits we would like to schedule during the time we are doing the high school graduation requirements?
I think we should do a charter LEA as well.
Since do we want that charter LEA to have any particular uh programming? Like do we want uh CTE? Do we want and we in theory we could do two more, but we need to think about uh we just need to actually get the thing scheduled and make it happen. But um I know idea was supposed to come. I will say, but idea is already in Ward 7. I mean the ATC is also served across and is mentioned a bunch with like the endorsements. Um, what do folks think? Maybe the ATC plus a charter, and I know we do have a list of suggested sites.
I was thinking maybe ATC and a charter. And maybe the charter could be one of the folks who presented to us about what they have. And so maybe we could put what they presented, and kind of look at it in real life.
I mean, I'm happy to go back to idea. Um, to see if, because they were going to present, and then the principal wasn't able to attend, the ED wasn't able to attend at the last meeting, so we didn't get that perspective. Uh, if that makes
Oh, okay.
sense.
Well,
Uh,
maybe we do idea. Well, maybe we do idea in ATC.
okay. So we'll start to get those in motion. Um, and so it sounds like with 3 visits, before we come to that. Okay. I don't think we have any other agenda items. All
No,
right.
it's just any
It was
new
robust.
business.
Are there best and maybe folks don't know this offhand, but if there are best days or times for visits that uh you all want to suggest so we can schedule within. I know, I mean, of course, like we want to be respectful and accommodating to the school, but like if a Thursday works better than a Wednesday, those things tend to be, I'm just making up stuff. I don't want to assume. I just want to make it as uh accessible as possible.
Yeah, I would say not Mondays for me, and if it's Wednesdays, Wednesday morning. I
Okay.
can't do it after.
I like Wednesdays. I like Wednesday mornings as well.
Okay. We can try for Wednesdays. Um, all right. Uh, I think I asked at the top if we were going to be adding any new business. I did not hear any, but I will ask again. Okay. Well, sounds like we had a solid productive hour. Um, we can adjourn at 6:18 p.m. Thank you all. Um, and see you all at the next SBOE thing.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks.
Bye.